The Golden State Warriors are entering the 2025-26 NBA season with a storyline that has the basketball world buzzing. After years of being defined by their small ball dynasty, their three-point shooting, and their relentless pace, the Warriors have quietly reshaped their roster. The most surprising and perhaps smartest addition is veteran center Al Horford, a player who brings not only experience but also a unique skill set that could give the Warriors a brand new dimension. When the news first broke, it didn't come with fireworks. There wasn't a massive press conference or a viral video from the Warriors' social media team. Instead, it came from trusted NBA insider Shams Charania, who reported that Horford had agreed to a multi-year deal with Golden State. What followed, however, was an avalanche of reactions from analysts, fans, and former players. Among them, the loudest and most enthusiastic voice belonged to ESPN's own Stephen A. Smith, who did not hesitate to call this a damn good pickup for the Warriors. Stephen A.'s excitement wasn't just about Horford as an individual, it was about what he represents in the Warriors system. At 39 years old, many players would be considered washed up, but Horford has defied that narrative. He has remained effective on both ends of the court, shooting nearly 40% from three during his final years in Boston, while still defending at a high level. For a Warriors team that has always valued shooting and versatility, this is a golden match. Let's dive into why this signing matters. First, the Warriors desperately needed size and consistency in the frontcourt. Kevin Looney, while respected and hardworking, has struggled with injuries and lacks the offensive versatility that Horford brings. Draymond Green is a defensive genius but undersized for the center role in certain matchups. By bringing in Horford, the Warriors finally have a big man who can stretch the floor, pass intelligently, and anchor the defense without clogging up space for Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler. Yes, you heard that right, Jimmy Butler, another addition who has reshaped this roster. Now, imagine a lineup with Curry running the point, Butler on the wing, Draymond orchestrating defense, and Horford spreading the floor as a stretch five. It's not just balance, it's nightmare fuel for opposing teams. Horford doesn't need the ball to be effective. He doesn't require heavy minutes. He simply plugs into a system and makes the entire team better. Stephen A. Smith's approval also carries weight because he's been one of the harshest critics of the Warriors over the years. He has called them out when they got complacent, when they failed to develop their young players, and when they made questionable roster decisions. So, when someone like him goes out of his way to call this the Warriors' smartest move in years, you know it means something. But it's not just about Horford. The Warriors' off-season strategy has been intriguing. Alongside Horford, they've secured the returns of Gary Payton II and Anthony Melton. Both players are defensive-minded guards, known for their grit, hustle, and ability to disrupt opposing offenses. In a league dominated by star wings and explosive guards, having this kind of depth is essential. Together, Payton and Melton can form one of the most annoying backcourt duos to play against, bringing pressure, steals, and relentless energy. Then there's the Jonathan Kuminga situation. For months, Warriors fans were worried that Kuminga's contract negotiations would lead to a messy split. Rumors swirled about trades, disagreements with ownership, and even possible locker room tension. Joe Lacob, the team's owner, reportedly asked Kuminga directly, "Do you want to be here?" It was a question that could have defined the future of Golden State. Thankfully, Kuminga has shown signs of commitment, and with Horford joining, the roster suddenly looks more balanced. Kuminga can continue to grow as a two-way forward without being forced into roles he's not ready for. What does all of this mean for Stephen Curry? Well, at 37 years old, Curry is no longer the young superstar carrying the entire franchise on his back. He still has the shot, the vision, and the leadership, but he needs help. Bringing in veterans like Horford and Butler ensures that Curry doesn't have to play superhero every night. Instead, he can focus on efficiency, conserving energy, and being the closer when games get tight. This is how you extend a superstar's career and give him a chance at one more championship run. The Warriors' history proves that veteran additions can change everything. Think back to Andre Iguodala's arrival in 2013. He wasn't in his prime, but his leadership and versatility helped shape the dynasty. Think about Kevin Durant joining in 2016. His presence turned a great team into an unbeatable juggernaut. Even in smaller cases, Shaun Livingston, David West, Andrew Bogut, the Warriors have always valued high IQ veterans who bring stability. Horford fits that mold perfectly. Of course, there are risks. Horford is nearly 40, and while his numbers have held up, Father Time is undefeated. Can he stay healthy through an 82-game season? Can he keep up with younger, faster centers? Can he give the Warriors reliable minutes deep into the playoffs? These are valid questions. But the beauty of this signing is that the Warriors don't need him to play 35 minutes a night. They just need him to give 20 to 25 quality minutes, hit open threes, guard multiple positions, and serve as a mentor in the locker room. That's more than worth the contract they've given him. The NBA community has reacted strongly to this move. Celtics fans are heartbroken but happy to see Horford land in a good situation. Warriors fans are cautiously optimistic, seeing spotlight with Jonathan Kuminga again at the center of trade buzz. After weeks in limbo, new reports say sign-and-trade talks with the Sacramento Kings have been reignited. But there's no certainty yet. Today we bring you the freshest developments, the stakes, and what could happen next. This week, sources close to both teams confirm what many suspected. The Warriors and Kings resumed discussions about a possible sign-and-trade involving Kuminga. The two sides had largely paused talks over the summer, but momentum appears renewed. According to reports, Sacramento's offer remains largely unchanged: Malik Monk plus a lottery-protected 2030 first-round pick in exchange for Kuminga. Yet Golden State has pushed back. Monk's contract, along with fit concerns, is a major sticking point. With training camp near and a deadline looming, urgency has crept into what was once a drawn-out standoff. Kuminga is currently tethered to a $7.9 million qualifying offer for the 2025-26 season, which he could accept to become an unrestricted free agent next summer. His agent, Aaron Turner, has publicly pushed for scenarios that include a player option in any extension, giving Kuminga more control over his future. The deadline for the qualifying offer passes October 1st, meaning a decision must be made very soon. Golden State's reticence to accept Sacramento's offer stems from multiple factors. First, Malik Monk's contract is seen as burdensome. Second, the protections on the Kings' first-round pick make it less appealing. Warriors want more certainty of value. Third, Golden State's long-term flexibility may be jeopardized if they absorb a heavy contract in Monk or otherwise limit cap maneuverability for future free agent pursuits. Even as discussions restart, insiders say, no significant progress has been made. Kuminga's camp has not remained silent. Turner has made clear that his client is prepared to take the one-year qualifying offer if no extension meets his demands. Taking that route brings risk. If Kuminga plays under a low-salary one-year deal, any injury or drop in performance could hurt his next contract. But it also gives him veto power over trades during that season, a valuable tool he may see as giving leverage. Segment 5: What Warriors and Kings Want. From Sacramento's side, the interest remains strong. They see Kuminga as a young, versatile wing who could fit their timeline. But they have held firm on protections for their pick and used Monk as the centerpiece of their offer, unwilling so far to offer better terms. Golden State, meanwhile, would prefer to keep Kuminga if they can or execute a sign-and-trade that returns value they deem acceptable. Front office voices suggest that if no deal is struck, the Warriors will move forward with the roster as is, betting on internal chemistry and existing talent, suggesting that Kuminga could be part of a package to shed salary and bring in immediate help. None of these deals materialized, but the message was clear. The story of Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors is one filled with hope, talent, and rising tension. Kuminga arrived in Golden State as a raw but incredibly gifted prospect, drafted 7th overall in the 2021 NBA Draft. He was seen as a future cornerstone, a versatile forward with elite athleticism, defensive potential, and the ability to grow into a star under the mentorship of Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson. The Warriors believed he could represent the bridge between their championship core and the franchise's future. In his first 2 seasons, Kuminga flashed moments of brilliance. His ability to slash to the rim, defend multiple positions, and bring energy off the bench stood out. Yet, inconsistency and limited playing time created frustration. Steve Kerr, known for trusting veterans, often kept Kuminga's minutes tight, especially in critical playoff games. This decision sparked debate within the Warriors fan base. Was Kerr slowing Kuminga's growth, or was Kuminga not fully ready for the responsibility? By the 2023-24 season, the friction grew louder. Kuminga openly expressed dissatisfaction with his role. Reports surfaced that he felt undervalued and underutilized, especially during stretches where he performed well but still see his minutes cut in favor of veterans. His athletic prime was approaching, and being stuck behind Andrew Wiggins in the rotation only fueled his frustration. For a young player eager to prove himself, it was difficult to accept that his development seemed to be taking a back seat to the Warriors' pursuit of squeezing out every last championship run from their aging core. Meanwhile, the Warriors were at a crossroads. Their dynasty, built on the brilliance of Curry, the defense of Green, and the shooting of Thompson, was showing cracks. Thompson's decline, Green's suspensions, and Curry shouldering too much of the offensive load highlighted the urgent need for youth. Kuminga represented that injection of energy, but the question remained, was Kerr willing to trust him fully? And was Kuminga patient enough to wait? Tensions escalated when reports suggested Kuminga's camp was considering his long-term future. His agent hinted that if his role didn't expand, he could explore opportunities elsewhere. Rival teams circled, knowing his talent could flourish in a system built around him. The Warriors, however, were torn. Trading Kuminga could bring in win-now pieces, but losing him could also mean giving away their future cornerstone. The 2024-25 season has only intensified these questions. Kuminga's performances have been more polished. His shot selection has improved, his defense more disciplined, and his confidence undeniable. Yet, the inconsistency of his minutes remains a storyline. Warriors fans argue that Kuminga should already be the second option behind Curry, while others believe Kerr's tough love is preparing him for bigger responsibilities. Still, every game where Kuminga shines but sits late in the fourth quarter adds fuel to the controversy. The Warriors' struggles this season have made Kuminga's situation even more critical. With the team battling in a competitive Western Conference, every decision feels magnified. If Golden State leans too heavily on veterans, they risk alienating Kuminga. If they hand the keys to him too early, they risk mistakes that could cost them games. It is a delicate balance, and so far, it has left both sides unsatisfied. For Kuminga, the pressure is real. He knows the NBA is about opportunity, and windows don't last forever. Every year he sits behind veterans is a year lost in proving he can be an all-star. For the Warriors, the dilemma is equally sharp. Can they transition smoothly from the Curry era to a future led by Kuminga, or will they mismanage the situation and see him thrive somewhere else? The narrative now seems to be heading toward an eventual split. Unless something drastically changes in Kerr's rotations or the Warriors shift their philosophy, Kuminga's desire for a bigger role may push him to another team. And if that happens, it will mark a dramatic turning point, not just for Kuminga's career, but for the Warriors' dynasty. Losing him would symbolize the struggle Golden State has faced in trying to win now while building for the future. For now, Kuminga remains in a complex position, too talented to ignore, too ambitious to wait, and too vital for the Warriors to easily trade away. His story with Golden State continues, but the ending feels uncertain. Will he be the torchbearer of the next Warriors era, or will he become the star that slipped through their hands? Jonathan Kuminga's story with the Golden State Warriors is one of both promise and tension. Drafted in 2021 as the 7th overall pick, he arrived with the reputation of being one of the most athletic and explosive forwards of his class. The Warriors, then fresh off years of championship dominance, saw him as the bridge between their aging dynasty and a new generation. But 4 seasons later, instead of blossoming into the face of the franchise, Kuminga now finds himself described by insiders as absolutely miserable in Golden State. His frustrations with limited playing time, inconsistent trust from the coaching staff, and stalled contract negotiations have brought the relationship to a breaking point. This script explores, in detail, the issues tearing both sides apart, and why separation now feels inevitable. When Kuminga first joined the Warriors, expectations were high. His athleticism, defensive potential, and flashes of scoring made him a tantalizing prospect. Yet, playing on a team led by Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green meant minutes were scarce. Head coach Steve Kerr prioritized veterans who understood his complex motion offense and defensive schemes. Kuminga's minutes often fluctuated wildly. He could play 30 minutes one night and sit on the bench the next. For a young player trying to build confidence, this inconsistency became a major source of frustration. Still, he accepted his role early on, believing patience would pay off. But as the seasons rolled by, the patience began to wear thin. Despite these struggles, Kuminga delivered undeniable moments of brilliance. During the 2024-25 regular season, he averaged 15.3 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 2.2 assists in about 47 games, even after missing 2 months with an ankle injury. In the playoffs, when Stephen Curry was sidelined with injury, Kuminga stepped up in a big way. Against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he averaged nearly 21 points per game over a crucial 5-game stretch. These performances showcased his ability to shine under pressure and fueled his belief that he deserved a larger role. To him, those flashes weren't anomalies. They were proof he was ready to be a cornerstone player. To the Warriors' coaching staff, however, they were still glimpses rather than consistent production. As reports surfaced in summer 2025, the word "miserable" quickly spread across headlines. Sources close to the player revealed Kuminga felt trapped